GG. Just like that, we take it down. I mean, that turn was crippling. I've just been really enjoying Phobies, and I know I've been saying that a lot at the start of each Phobies stream, but I've been having a lot of fun. We'll get some of the async stuff done. I don't even remember this game, to be perfectly honest. I had queued up a ton of async games to try and accomplish, like, the weekly cup and stuff like that, and I don't remember, like, almost any part of them. I mean, the big reason is because I queued up so many, but at the same time, it's like, I can't remember any of them. They all kind of blended together. I don't take the async games very seriously. I do try and intentionally do, like, weird things, for lack of a better way to put it, so that way I can test stuff out. But for the most part, I'm just kind of, like, going through the motions. Like, I don't remember... I remember playing on this map, but I don't know what's happening here, to be perfectly honest. Hey, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome. Can you... You should be able to reach, right? Yeah, there we go. I must have clicked on the wrong hex. So you're gonna take 1 billion, right? Or 1,500. You. So you're gonna die. I didn't mean to rewind that many things. Oop, we don't want the jar there. I guess we just kind of wait on this, and then we'll get some other help online. Erratic's going to take 1,000 years. We'll go alligator here as well. I know I did in the other game. I think my alligator's under-leveled, because I've kind of not really used it. Yeah, it's only level 3. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like I said, the async games are just... whatever. They're basically my funnel to get resources to play more Arena. And our opponent has to come to us, right? Get something else online, I guess. This is just arbitrary big thing. I realize I don't have really many high key ranged units. Erratic, I think, is my highest key ranged unit. Because I don't have any 7 or 8s unlocked. Or, excuse me, 8 or 9s. But yeah, it's Fish Tank, it's Alligator, Rambolina, Flesh Crawler, and then Erratic. Which probably explains my... how much I lean on Erratic. I end up using Erratic in virtually every game. And I know there's a lot of people that aren't huge fans of that guy. I don't know, I really like Erratic. It seems to be able to turn games around, or at least cause enough complications for my opponent that they have to... like, you have to honor Erratic, or it can absolutely tear you apart. Stress level 19 achieved. Alright, so our next stress level, we should get a Phobie. I think that's what this is. Yeah, new Phobie. It says it right here. Helps when you look at the whole screen. Now, I'm assuming, and I mentioned this before, I'm assuming that this is a healing Phobie is based on this part of the left-hand side of the screen. I don't know if that's actually true, but a healing Phobie, I feel like, would open up a lot more strategies for us. I don't know if it's experience right now. Because right now, not having a healing phobie definitely makes playing into poison complicated. It just is, you know, opposing sheeps are very dangerous. The 2-drop that can spit on you, Noxious, the dragon at 6. I haven't actually, you know what? I haven't seen the 1-drop spider in a very long time, now that I think about it. For a while, that I would see the spider constantly. For a while, I would see the spider constantly, but I haven't seen it in a while. So what's going on, chat? How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're doing well. Stress level 20 as a healer, nice. It's good. Well, actually, you know what? As I probably should have done this first. Where is it? We do have 6,000 tiers, so we're going to open some scary packs. By some, I mean 2. Couple. Maybe Spider isn't meta? I guess. What's funny is they're in the Phobies... This is going to sound weird, but I feel like there have been spoilers in the official Phobies tweets. Because they keep showing videos and they're like, oh, well, what's your favorite play or your favorite phobie? Which, by the way, apparently they're doing a contest about what your favorite phobie is. But they keep showing in these, like, you know, little clips phobies that I haven't seen yet. There's apparently a whole bunch of spiders that I haven't seen. So we'll see how it goes. What do we got? We got Sheep and Gas. We got an upgrade for Sheep and Gas. Nice. I don't know if we have enough XP to upgrade it, though. But an upgrade for Sheep and Gas seems pretty good. Flopsy, we finally got another undead reindeer. Because we've had the Jackalope King. Well, I mean, I guess it's a Jackalope, but... we've had the Jackalope King for a while, but we have not had any of the other ones show up. That's a welcome addition. Let's see what we got. What level? Do they come in at level 1? Yeah, so this is going to take forever to get this ready. We're probably not going to use it for a while. Part of me says upgrade all the little stuff so we can get easy levels. Maybe we do upgrade Flopsy. I don't know if it's more efficient. I keep meaning to throw it in a spreadsheet, and I had started to, but then I got lazy about it. To just see what all the math works out to be for leveling something. You know, if I wanted to go level 1 to level 20, brand new phobie, how much XP would that take? How many cards would that take? Just to get a sense of it. I don't know if it really matters, because realistically, I am very, very far away from doing that with any of them, but I'd be curious. We have a sturdier Sheep and Gas. I think the HP increase, I mean, don't get me wrong, the damage and stuff is important too, but it being able to tank hits so that way we can just charge in is super important. That seems fine. We're just doing this, and then we'll jump back into a arena game. Now, and unfortunately, it has to be this. Unfortunately, because it's probably going to die to the ray down here, but not a whole lot we can do about that. They should not be able to kill any of these up here. I don't think. But speaking of Rambolina, maybe we can get a boop out of this. If we can get a boop, that would be hilarious. I doubt it will happen, but you never know. We're also up by, like, 1 billion life, so I'm not real worried about that game. Alright, let's jump into Arena. I don't feel as confident in my skill level in this game as compared to others. Alright. Let's see what we got here. So we're on Eternal Monday. I think it's Eternal Monday. So one thing I noticed offline, because I was playing a game on one of the new maps in this map rotation. Or it's new to me. There were 2 maps that came in, and I forgot what one's left, but of the 2 maps that came in, one of them was new to me, because the other one I think I had played on before. I have no idea, by the way, why they did this. I guess they can get to this right away now. Like, even a regular movement phobie can get there immediately. I don't see a point in deploying Razormouth, then. I think we'd rather bank the 1 key and then maybe get a 4 cost. That's probably true, Doc. I mean, you start high enough, given the way the season works, right? So I could see them... Well, they can't block this off. Is this map asymmetrical? No. I'm pretty sure all of them are symmetrical. Alright, so this is what I was expecting. We can't go here because the combination will kill this. We also can't go here for the same reason. And we can't go jar because same problem. So we'll just set up. They still have 1 more turn of cooldown for this. If a jar comes out, they can do 4... Probably... Oh, this is 460. 6... Like, they might be able to kill this with a jar. They might be able to kill that with a jar. If they move up the Gravedigger. So we're gonna... We're gonna go here just to deter the Gravedigger from advancing. Took me like a whole minute of looking at this map. It's symmetrical diagonally. Yeah, the one thing I wish they would add is the ability to rotate the maps a little bit. I'm sure that would cause issues on mobile because you would accidentally start rotating things, but it would be nice to be able to position things in a different angle if you want. Oh, hey, we were just talking about this guy. Or Henrietta. Alright, so we have to kill this. Our opponent has a pretty aggressive opening. Oh boy, that is not good. No, I do want a meatball. That is a thing we want to have happen. We're going to move here. They're going to cap all 3 points. We got to hope that we can get out of this quickly enough. Henrietta doesn't do enough regular damage. This might be okay, because we could leap to something and try and clear it out. So this discourages them from taking the middle point. They probably sack either the cat or the spider to do that anyway. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Like, we'll kill it, but it's 1 key. Who cares? So is Henrietta a reference to something? Because the only spider that I can think of is Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's Web. Yeah, I kind of expected this to happen. So we kill the cat with the bear. We kill the spider with cassowary. We retake the point with the murder fly. And we're still taking a bunch of damage. But again, we have a little bit of breathing room. Now, that's Famous Last Words is based on the first game of the night. Yeah, this is dangerous. So we're going to trade 2 keys for 2 keys. Basically, Cassowary's going to eat it. because of this guy. So this allows us to roll the bear up. We have 4 keys. How much can you do? 392. So what we might have to do is just roll the bear onto the point. We can't afford to take much more damage, because then it opens us up to just getting rushed down. So yeah, I was kind of expecting this, so now we have to roll the bear on, which means that Kivo here can pulverize the bear, and depending on what they do next... So they've left they're banking. That's a little scary. They've left Gesundheit back here, almost as though they forgot about him. $780. You'll actually live through this. Right? $684? 784 rather. 6. So we're going to bank. I don't know what 6 costs they could crap out here that's going to be problematic. There's a huge number of them, I just don't know what one it's going to be. So Murderfly barely lives, but it lives. Which again was the only reason I moved it up there. Now they could have something that I can't think of that could punish us. Alright, that can't reach this turn. Now we have to decide which one we're going to go after. And we have to retreat the jar because we cannot... the jar will die to both of these, and diving it is probably worth it for them. Diving it is probably worth it for them. This presumably is just going to sneak up here in order to steal stuff, but I think we're going to try and get Erratic online. They have 2 mechanical units. This map kind of, you know, you have a cluster in a number of areas as you group up for a push. Which is probably true for a number of maps, but... If we can kill this, then I'm going to leave the bear there. We can kill it. Alright, so maybe we don't have to get Erratic. Because Erratic is going to take a while to get online. We have 13 keys left. I didn't mean to put him there. If we had gone here, we could have moved him here, but I didn't want to risk undoing it and then just not getting him at all. We're back to taking damage, but we have a pretty big key advantage, so I'm not too worried about it. We're not going to be able to kill this thing up here, annoyingly. Oh, maybe. 2... If we do, it's going to be, like, Exacxies. We do have to retreat, though, now that they have a jar. If it was just these 2, we could possibly tank it, but we can't with this. That's not going to happen. So if we hit this guy, we're gonna die. We should die. If we go here, we probably die as well. We go here, I'm not too worried, and we can retreat because of his movement range. Like, we can get right on the healing point. There's no way they're killing this in one turn right now. We're gonna bank, try and get another big dude. We're gonna have all 7 keys, so we have the entirety of our collection available at this stage. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't have any 8 or 9s right now. That's fine. I mean, it's annoying, but 4,200 to 5,250. We are behind, but we have, like I said, a pretty significant key advantage, so we can definitely just go for the kill, or just possess the top and bottom points, because those are the ones that the jar can't target. I do need to draw up some maps. I was trying to do that offline. I mentioned it earlier where I was messing around with some different stuff to do in OBS. Try and break down games in a different way. I think that there's... like, trying to study the openers and figure out what's going to be useful. So we can move this up, pop these, and then possibly we would trade Rambolina. Like, just want to see this. So we're trading 6 keys for 6 keys here. No, we're not. This is the risk. Ran out of time there. So that set of actions just took too long to do, is the bottom line. Now, they can cap all 3 points here. I expect them to move up, kill the Murder Fly. But then we'll just kill the, what's it called? The Gesundheit. Then Rambolina can take the center point. And then probably die. 1,000, 1,500. You might live. Well, you should live. Yeah, you should be fine, actually. If this were up one more, we might be okay, but obviously it's not, so we're not. So we should tank all the hits here. Because this will do 560, this will do 548 twice. And we had over 2k, I think. Forget exactly what Rambolina was at, but it was high enough that it should be fine. We don't have 2k. But it's more than, 1,600 and change or so. Point being is then we can run Rambolina away, go heal it, and just pulverize the sheep. Our opponent is kind of locked. We were able to... This match came down to we were able to generate a big key advantage early on. There really wasn't anything they could do about it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to get it done. We might not be able to kill this thing. We'll see. We should be able to. We're doing it that way so Rambolina isn't standing on the fire. This thing's standing on the fire, but I don't care because it can heal. And if they decide to come out with Jar, I mean, it doesn't matter whether they decide to come out with Jar, let's be real. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna pass turn. I don't know what our opponent's at. If they start roping us or something, I'll move in. Fair. They've accepted the inevitable. I don't know if this will get the Jar from this range. Yes, it will, because it only had 9 health remaining. GG. Happy Easter. More free jacks for you to find. Happy Easter. To celebrate, we have more free jacks for you to find. The jacks want to celebrate this Easter, so they decided to refresh the free jacks more often than usual, and this begins... Ooh, interesting. I'm going to post this to my Discord because I think there are a few people there who might be interested. It might be of relevance to a number of people. Are you mostly playing Arena? Mostly, Jinxie. I mean, I do have async game, new game. Ooh. I wonder if this caused the desync. I wonder if this caused the desync. So that may be what happened there. I won't blame it on opponent, you know, pulling the plug. Did they announce maintenance or something? But yeah, Jinxie, I do have some async games going. I have not really played too much async ladder. I mentioned it earlier, but I think I'm still in heebie-jeebies there, whereas I'm in... Yeah, I think we just got out of heebie-jeebies, so... So yeah, we're in heebie-jeebies 3 for async, and Arena, we're in Primals 3. My goal is to hit Doomsday 2 before the season's over. We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it happens. So we're probably going to lose this game. I don't know if this is a good idea, but it seems funny. Actually, wait. We need to do... Yes, Murderfly, please. Thank you. Game. Sometimes clicking stuff and unclicking stuff is much more challenging than it needs to be. Nope, not you. Again, clicking stuff, unclicking stuff. We might get lit up here by their erratic, but I don't know. Said I kind of don't care. We are still down panic points. We could move the Rambolina. I would love to be able to boop this thing to death, but what I expect it's going to do is burrow over here and kill the Rambolina. I mean, it could also burrow and kill the crab. Or the crab. The crab can kill the Jar, possibly, but we'll see. We will see. They had another trap on there? That's unfortunate. They had another freezing trap. Another game. Is this the same opponent? I'm not sure if this is the same opponent. So this was a new map in the last map rotation, and it's weird to me. It's actually really weird to me, because I thought I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and then I've had a string of games on this that were just brutal. To the point that I don't think I really have a good grasp on how I want this to go. This sort of opener is usually what I do. And And what I've seen contested was this. Because I think you can give up the early advantage with this. And then maybe next turn we go into a sheep. And then just, like, push them back. So what I was doing was basically this opener with Cassowary and the Cat into Murderfly or Gravedigger to try and lock off part of the board. So we clearly can't go down here. We probably get blown up, right? 476, so we'll say 1,000, even though it's going to be just short. It's 1,500. Plus this coming around. So instead, it'll be 3, 8, 9, 14. You will tank this. I don't know that sheep is what we want either. We'll see. I'm hoping this forces them to back off and we can try and retake the middle. Is kind of what's happening here. To a degree. I mean, they now have all the points. Just no bueno. Depending on what they play, we can move Stabby onto the center point and then have Sheep and Gas try and contest the Cassowary. Possibly. That still opens us up to get Meatballed plus double Cassowaried into Jar. Which is a 1,500 and probably somewhere between 1,700 and 1,800. This is what I was talking about earlier with surprise jar hits, where you can try and set people up to get exploded by a jar. There it is. So I think we still soak some damage here. This is 1,000, 1,500, 16, 17. Like, this could kill Stabby, the combination of these. But that means that they're going to be in range to get exploded by the sheep. If we move the sheep up, the sheep gets exploded. I think we kind of just soak some damage for now, see if we can eliminate some of these for free. You know, like if they leave the Cassowary there, if they don't dive the Stabby, basically. We may end up trading Murderflies here. Because I think they're contemplating leaping with the Cassowary and then sending in Murderfly. Actually, the jar may be able to kill it now. No, it can't. This would have to be a super high-level jar, and it's not. So we're still not necessarily in a position to retake anything, because they can just move everything back in and lay into whatever we move up. So Stabby is the only thing that's really safe, arguably, because we'll get hit with every one of these if we take the middle point. Or the top point. Because I could go here, hit, move, leap, move the jar up, move this. We can stem the tide a little bit. Since they bank keys and we're going to be even, we're going to bank as well. I don't know what 6 we want to go for. It's a little unfortunate that we don't really have Flopsy ready to go. Yeah, you don't have enough damage to quite kill Stabby. From range, that is. We do have to find a way to take another one of these points, and we can't take the center right now. It's just not safe. What we can do, get our jar online. I don't know if sacking the jar or the murder fly for theirs here is worth it. If it goes here, can we even get it? We should be able to. But they may not send it in. Because they could get it with cassowary and jar. Actually, no, they can't. Oh, no! I took too long. I thought I apparently didn't click on it enough. So we probably just lost this for free. Well, it was an awkward game of chicken until we probably just donated this. So we should be able to get these two. But we're taking a ton of damage. Like, we gotta retake the points, and fast. We're taking probably another 1,800. Because we're gonna take 600 this turn, then another 600 on our turn, and another 600 on their turn. If we had killed the cat, as dumb as it is, we would be in a significantly better position for a variety of reasons, but... Actually, we can just take this point. I thought for some reason it wasn't going to make it. So this will do 8, 12 and change. That's not good, but what are you going to do? So our opponent has banked an enormous amount of keys, and I don't know what they're holding it back for. I'd rather listen to Meatloaf or eat Meatloaf. I can't stand eating Meatloaf, so I guess the former? I don't know. I can't even name a Meatloaf song, Atona. Like, I couldn't even tell you... Like, I know of Meatloaf, but I can't think of a single song or even in my head to, like, hear the tune. So I have no idea. So new that someone says they're just going to... Yeah, I was going to ask if that was a Freudian slip, Doc, or if it was just a typo. This is bad. Hevo is bad for us. Shocker, right? I know. I'm sure everyone would never have seen that coming. I don't know if this matters. We can't take much more damage. I feel like we have to capture this point, but we're going to take probably lethal. 8, 16. You know, this is probably lethal if we stay there. So we're going to bank for Erratic. The reason we're separating these is Hevo has a... his ability is a AoE pushback that's ranged, so this could be very bad. That's fair, Doc. That's fair. Poor spelling and a Freudian slip, I guess those kind of go hand in hand, right? So we can't hit this guy for a whole lot. We can no, we can't. I was going to say we can kill their jar, but they're not going to let us. I don't think we can even trade. So what we can do is I think we're going to light up Unbearable, move in, AoE push. That's probably not going to kill the jar, though. It almost kills the jar, but not quite. That's not enough. This has to happen. So they can't get the jar, at least not this turn. Here's the AoE push. Because they wanted to see where it was going to push them. So now Unbearable kills Stabby. Gets pulled forward. And they have all 3 points again. And a very, well, largely healthy team. They could bum rush the core. Like, that is feasible, I think. We're gonna get Hevo here. We can retake the point, buy ourselves some more time. Now, they're gonna gas both our sheep and Erratic, but I think we're okay. Like, they can't... I don't think there's any way they can kill Rambolina quickly enough, and Erratic should leech enough life that this is okay. We're taking a risk here. I'm not sure if this is worth it. Oh no, they can get Rambolina. Oh, that's bad. I thought Rambolina was going to live. Mistakes may have been made here, chat. If Rambolina lived, we were okay, but as it is, don't think so. That could be true. Can't believe we're not going to kill this thing. We're not going to get out with the sheep. So we are going to do this. We're not taking as much damage. This guy will die. So is Erratic. Alright, so this was a mistake. What we needed to do is instead of hitting him, we needed to hit the sheep with our sheep. So we threw this. At least I'm pretty sure we threw. So he's going to die to the poison. This will die to our jar this turn. And then it's a matter of whether they bring this into range or not. They have a huge advantage because they have so much extra health on their... See, I think this is a mistake. I think they have to kill Erratic. I'm still going to kill their guys. Like, I'm still going to get the sheep. I guess they're banking on the fact that Erratic won't live. So we have to do it this way. I wanted to get the jar on the point, but we can't yet. So what I assume their game plan from here is they have to play keep away and don't let Erratic ever connect with their dude, quite obviously. So we take this point, we've now flipped the tables, and we could probably just sit here and they have to come into range of us. Because they're not going to kill our jar. Our jar is a higher level than theirs. Which kind of goes back to the point of, like, this is... Should we have won this game? I don't think our opponent really made an enormous amount of mistakes, but we had a higher level jar than them, so GG. Got him. We definitely, like, I made mistakes in this game. I miscalculated at least 2 times where I thought something was going to live, and I didn't, it was just a matter of not checking the damage. Or the one was just, oh yeah, the jar is up top. The jar can artillery fire and crush us, so whoops. And we ended up winning that game basically because the jar was higher level. It was nice of them to replace the strong poison with the weak poison. It doesn't stack. So I don't think that's ever come up where I've had somebody like double poison something and it didn't just die because they were not going for the poison, they were killing stuff. I did notice that it got lower. So now that you're saying that, yeah, it does replace. That's good to know. That's actually important to keep in mind. So if they... Let's go back to that. If they had not done that, was that game... Like, did we lose that game? Because then maybe they did make a big mistake. Hey, Nocturne Dragon, welcome! Much appreciated that you're hanging out. I'm doing alright. I hope you're doing well. Hope we can get an entertaining Phobies stream for you. We're just double checking how some behavior with poison works for this game. Okay, so we should be getting close. Alright, so our opponent... So, Erratic's about to superhero jump over here. So Erratic. He currently is poisoned for 545. We do that. One of our guys died to poison, that's why it disappeared. So this is what we're trying to verify. It does replace. So, like I was saying a minute ago, I don't think this has ever come up in one of my games before, where I've had, say, this thing where arbitrary poison phobie come in, poison something, and then poison it again. But most of them, like Noxious, the 2-drop that spits, the Spider, they either all have like one-time things or the same poison. I don't know if Sheeping Gas is the only one with 2 different kinds of poison, 2 different levels. And you're right, it definitely replaced, which I was curious about. So we're at... Whoop, lost my cursor for a second. So if we took 500 here, it's what, 545? So we'd be at like under 200. No. 200, like barely above 200. As I said 545, right? Yes. I said 545, and then in my head it was 575 for a second. I don't know why that happened. It happens sometimes. So we'd be floating around 200. It would also, on top of being only 200, would probably still have another stack of poison. Well, you know what? We would also have 500 extra health. We'd also have... I hate that you can't click on the Phobies during the replay until you pause it. We'd have an extra 518 health. How much health did we end up with when they did this? We probably would have died to this jar. But if we did, then that means they didn't attack our jar, which means we blow up theirs because we can kill theirs and they can't kill ours. So I think we were still okay. The point being is I don't know that it was a misplay. I think the damage now is better than waiting for that poison damage to tick. I'm that guy that always comments on your Phobies re-uploads to YouTube. Nice! Well, I'm glad to have you in the stream then, Dragon. Much appreciated. I do appreciate the comments on the YouTube videos in all seriousness. So anybody out there watching, if you're seeing this on YouTube, definitely come hang out on the stream. It's a lot of fun. But I do appreciate the comments. So shout out to all of the YouTube commentators. All right, so I think that's enough. We were able to figure out what was going on there. I don't think... I kind of stand by my original statement that we won that on the strength of the Phobies. So I can't see the status of them being frozen. Like, I don't know what being frozen means. Other than this guy's not doing anything. Actually, wait. So this is a... game, let me click off. This is one of my async games. So we don't have our AoE right now, but that's fine. We're just going to lick this guy to death, which, by the way, I wouldn't recommend. That's weird. For anybody out there wondering, it is, in fact, weird. That guy's going to die on the point, meaning he won't regenerate. We have the majority of the points. So here's the question, if anybody in chat knows. So earlier in this game, they had this undead walrus-looking thing that moves really slow but has range and then plays frozen traps. That's why Alligator is frozen here. They had hit us with something else. In fact, I think I can look at the replay. This replay is full of play errors, but as I mentioned before, and I'll keep repeating it, the async games are just kind of like a testing ground. So which one was that? This map? Okay. I want to look at what the freezing phobie does. We're just gonna... this guy. So, spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't want to see Jeeves here. Which is hilarious. So, Frozen Stiff. Places a freeze trap can be set off by an enemy unit at the end of any turn except the turn it's laid. Frozen units can't move or attack. Fire melts ice by 1 round. So I guess they're frozen for 2 turns. I assume they can be attacked, though. It doesn't actually say. Like, the unit itself can't move or attack, but presumably the frozen unit can be targeted. But our opponent in the current turn of this game is just electing to leave it alone? I don't know, that seems weird. So I'm assuming that it can't be targeted, but maybe... I don't know. I'm still encountering a ton of phobies that I haven't seen. Obviously not as many as when I first started, but I realized the other day I only have one single key phobie. It's a weird sentence to try and formulate, but I only have a single 1 key phobie that I haven't seen. There's only a single 2 key phobie that I haven't seen. 3, and 2 of which we're going to get from stress level unlocks. I love microscopic. It's hilarious to me. Oh, by the way, I mentioned this offline. Bonk, wait, wrong stream. Bees! Technically, there are bonks in this. I'm calling it a boop with Rambolina because I think it's more appropriate, but you could argue that Rambolina headbutting you is a bonk. I think there's an argument to be made there. Somebody in the official Phobies Discord was like, dude, why do you like bees so much? And in my head, I told my wife, I'm like, I don't like bees. It's just funny to go, bees! Like, the 1 key is ultra rare, but no more spoilers. Fair, Dragon, fair. I don't mind the spoilers, but admittedly, normally I don't care. Like, at all. Like, people can spoil stuff for me, and I really don't care. I'll put something out there if I don't want it spoiled. Here, I am, and this is why I'm kind of on the fence, I am enjoying discovering them, because a lot of this stuff is really cool. A lot of this stuff is really cool. And the matches where you show up and your opponent plays something new, and you're like, what is that? Like the first time I saw Jeeves. That Async game is the first time I saw Jeeves, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. This guy looks cool. He has a cool effect. Like, well, I'll tell you what's not cool, though. Going up against somebody who had this, and this. That was uncomfortable. I did end up winning. Well, the first guy didn't have Grimes, I don't think. Or maybe they did? But somebody else had Grimes and some other ultra rares. And when I saw Grimes hit the board, because I remembered the name. And people complaining about it in Discord. And I'm like, I don't know what this phobia is. I guess I'll just find out when I run into it. And I found out. It was bad. But as discussed both offline in my Discord and in a previous stream, there seems to be a phenomenon, not just in Phobies, but in a lot of games, where it's just, oh, I got my ultra rare. I'm going to let it carry me. And then it's, oops, my ultra rare didn't carry me. I'm going to rope you. It's like, bro, come on. Like, just, it's okay. We all lose games. In fact, I've lost lots of games in Phobies and otherwise. I mean, we're doing okay now. We're trying to get back to that 60% win rate. I did have 100% in Async, and then I lost some games, and then I really didn't care. But it was sad to lose that 100%. It hurt in here. It hurt in here, chat. But let's jump into another game. We'll try and get one more game, and then maybe I'll take a quick break, stretch my legs a little bit. I'm trying to make an effort to make sure I'm drinking more water and getting up and not being so sedentary the entire stream. So here's one of the other poison guys I was talking about. Super annoying. I don't really know how we deal with this guy. Other than dive him, I guess. So one thing I found out is that these guys, when they resurrect, they keep the poison timer. Because otherwise, I probably would have started with one of these and said, hey, I'll just crap this guy out. And when it resurrects, it'll lose the poison. Because that's my other card game brain going, yeah, that completely makes sense. Except when it doesn't. And then, you know, you get blown up. We might go for Flopsy here anyway, though. We're gonna try Flopsy. Actually, no, we're not, because the damage is too low. We're trying something different here. I don't really like any of this. I know this is dimensional into a poison, but, you know, between the death damage, we're basically just trying to trade evenly on the keys, is the point. Hard game brain is a weird thing, that's true. You're grinding hard 2 days ago, you were right behind me on the leaderboards, and now you're 100 points ahead of me. I've played a lot of Phobies the last few days, I'll admit. I go in waves where I'll play a ton of a game, and then I end up, like, not playing it at all. It just depends on real-life schedule, basically. I honestly was grinding mostly to get resources so that I could try and unlock some more stuff. So realistically, these probably should have been flipped. So if you go here, that's 2, 5. That should be enough to kill him. So we can't jar here. Get that one too. We can't get out of range. This is awkward. You should be able to do this safely. Because this can go here, you can go 1, 2, but you can't reach. You could go to the point. Like, I guess this is okay. It's fine. Oh, you're right, I can heal it. I even said it was dimensional. Yeah, I could have ran the night back. That's a streamer thing where, like, I've mentioned it before on stream that sometimes I'll just do especially boneheaded things, like more so than usual, while I'm streaming because I'm, like, trying to do tons of stuff at once. We lose some games. It happens. I mean, I've thrown plenty of games. Like, believe me. So this is a really unfortunate setup now. Keeping the knight alive would have been better. I don't know that the knight helps us here. So if we go in, it dies. If we go in, it dies. You can, your spit should be back online soon. I mean, this doesn't really do much. You go here. Like, if this thing comes back in, I'm okay with blowing it up and, like, trading cassowary. I don't want to... Like, Spit should not be live this turn, right? I'm pretty sure Spit is not live. The cooldowns in Phobies are weird to me. F's in chat. F's in chat for the Eternal Knight that I threw away. So what we should have done was put the Murderfly on here because Spit was on cooldown. For some reason I thought it was off cooldown at first, and then I realized too late that it was on, still on cooldown. 13. We might be able to kill this. I don't know if we actually want to. If I'm not wrong, Cassowary needs to be 1 level above Jar to one-shot it. I know I've one-shot Jars with it, but we definitely can't here, so that's probably true. We have 5, they have 6. So I just want to see if this works. We're probably going to end up undoing it, which means we're going to waste our whole turn because I'm not. I don't know that we want to do that, to be honest. Like, I think we end up losing everything here. Because they should be able to move up Spit. It won't kill the jar, but they can move their jar up and kill it. So jar plus this thing kills our jar, and then cat kills the... this? Actually, no, because they'll have to occupy that space. So we traded Murderfly for Stabby, which I don't know if I like that. I'm not sure why they're valuing the cassowary over the jar, to be honest. That's a little concerning. So is this guy. That guy's pretty concerning, I'm not gonna lie. We'll take the free kill on this thing. We'll kill this. Doesn't matter. I think we bank keys. We might have a life lead. We're still at a life deficit, but it's not... We're still very early on in the game. I think we want to bank keys, try and get Erratic online, like usual, and go from there. I'm wrong, you need to be even in levels, that's fair. It is important to keep in mind, like, that's a more relevant comparison, or more relevant way to look at it than I have typically been looking at it. And I think that that's definitely worthwhile. Something to keep in mind of where... So the same sort of relationship with Murderfly, which I think as long as it's at least the same level, maybe Murderfly can even be under-leveled, you can still one-shot it. A lot of this goes away once max Phobie level is achieved, but that'll take roughly 6 million years. So this is obviously going to come down and hit Stabby, right? But I think we're okay with that. Like, we might be able to kill it. And then we'll... if we... hopefully we can eliminate the sheep. It's possible they just kill it with this? No, they can't. So we should be able to get the sheep, and then we trade 4 for 3. Murderfly can one-shot jars that are up to 3 levels higher. Gotcha. I've definitely run into the scenario where... okay, they put the jar in range. That's fair. I've definitely run into scenarios where the Murderfly was actually able to... or, excuse me, the jar was able to tank the Murderfly. And that was a couple weeks ago, I think. It was long enough ago that I felt like it was way early in my playing career, for lack of a better way to put it, that it didn't... it felt unreasonable. I'm like, that's ridiculous that you can survive that. That doesn't feel right. We trade 4 for 3. Not necessarily ideal, and we're still hemorrhaging life total. I think we still bank keys. Like, this thing is going to be super vulnerable whenever we can get Erratic into range of it. Do we want another 6, or are we okay with... like, a Rambolina next turn could be very good. Just because of the movement range. And like I said, we have a little bit of life total to play around with. We're not in super danger yet. Super danger is an official Phobies game term, for the record, in case anybody was curious. When I get that happens to me, I immediately... Yeah, you can tell when you play against somebody and, you know, you have your jar out or you have whatever out, and it's like, oh, if they have a high enough level whatever here, my guy just dies. But then they spawn it where you can see them, oh, I got them lined up, and they just charge in and they do it. And then there's just this pause where it's like, you know what happened. And they're dead as a result. Alright, so the Rambolina, I think, was the correct choice here because it's our only 3 movement phobie. The only thing that can reach it here is, well, I guess they can move Murderfly up, but that's not going to happen. We don't want Jar in any of these spaces because they could fly the Murderfly up. And I don't think we want to move Erratic up. I think we let them come to us at this stage. Only 2 levels higher with the Murder Wing. My numbers are all wrong today. That's fair, Nocturne. I do have a spreadsheet that I was planning on putting all this stuff into just to have it, but part of me says I don't know how much value there is for the community at large or anything like that because, well, eventually everybody should be max level, right? But that's, like I said, probably 8 trillion light years away, so maybe it is worth doing because more people are going to be dealing with that. But at the same time, Phobie collection-wise, just your collection versus your opponent's collection also plays a major role. And even beyond all that, if the tournament mode that they've mentioned in Discord ever materializes, that could be a big deal as well, where it doesn't matter because everybody's equalized. I don't know. All right, well, our opponent has to come to us. I don't see a reason to push in. They are up on quantity of phobies, but as soon as this thing... Like, they have to eliminate Erratic. That's their win condition, so we got to make sure that Erratic lives. But if they try and move anything in to take pot shots on Erratic, we're just going to blow it up. To be honest, we could probably put Erratic where the jar is right now and be in good shape. Because if they move into range, again, we have some breathing room for life total. So if we pull back and then they recapture points, we should just be able to lay into them. Now, since they had this extra key laying around and they can get a 1 cost on here, it actually complicates our lives to a degree. Because they can recap these points with something trivial like this. We can't outright kill it with Jar. Right? No, we can't. Meaning we have to have, like, Erratic in range or something. So they can fly here, hit Erratic, move up, hit Erratic, move, hit Erratic, recap point. Like I said, I think their victory condition is killing Erratic, so we're gonna pull it back to be safe. We could take, and we probably should have done this last turn, was retake this point while this thing is healing. I don't think Murderfly is 436, 5s. Not quite. I'm just ballparking it in my head. I don't think we have enough. They're at 778, so 436 is 696. We wouldn't quite have enough, unfortunately. Not quite there. I clicked on chat. The sound got all screwed up. Wasn't sure on Rambolina's damage. That's fair. That's fair. Maybe it will matter because if all the cards are even, matchups start to be taken seriously. For example, Microscopic is just enough damage to 2-tap Gravedigger if they're evenly leveled. Interesting. See, but if they're evenly leveled, I guess it doesn't matter what level they're at. Like, everything at level 1 versus everything at level 20. There allegedly is some rounding with respect to the numbers, but I don't know what it is or how much it matters. I mean, it matters. We've obviously been talking about that, but I don't know. I think we just soak... if I were them, I'd pull this thing back, so now we're under pressure to do something. 4, 9, 1900 or so. So if I were them, like I said, I'd pull back Contortio and basically do the same thing we were just doing. We can't Rambolina, like, behind... Okay, maybe we can. I was going to say we can't Rambolina behind them, but now we can? So we're going to run to here below the jar and push Hevo forward and then light it up with Erratic if they don't move the jar. Which I think they should. Okay, they move Contortio. They had to move something. Now, we can still boop this guy anyway. Yes, there's rounding, but it's not that important. Well, it is and it isn't. It depends, because surviving by 1 HP is all that matters. As long as you live, you get another round of attacks, or require another attack from your opponent. So the rounding could definitely be relevant. Alright, so now we're under a lot of pressure. I'm not sure how we fix this. So we can kill their jar? Wait, what? You have 400... Oh, because I hit the wrong thing. I clicked on the wrong guy. There we go. I was gonna say, like, we should kill that thing. So we're gonna take, like, another 1200 and change. But the idea here is that I want to be able to pop this with Jar. They should pull it back, so maybe it wasn't worth it. You're not dead until you're dead. Exactly, Atona. Like, because you don't lose any stats, you know, there's no penalty for being less than full health. You're still fine as long as you're alive. Say maybe Jar gets plus 13 for every level up, but sometimes it's 14 because there's rounding. It's not that big of a deal. It depends on, like I said, what the things you're fighting are. So, yes, the Murderfly to Jar relationship may not change, but say, like, there will be game states. GG, we got it. I was worried about that one. They had me sweating. Well played, thank you. We got lucky, mostly. We got lucky. But to finish the thought that I was kind of stuttering about during the game is, if we assume an equalized playing field as far as levels go, when we're talking about all the different phobies. So, it will matter if you have non-standard answers. So an opener that ends up being essentially, you know, like you could open with a bunch of things, but it effectively revolves around, on this map, does my Jar or their Murderfly get eaten first? You know, like we're each trying to jockey for position with our Jars and our Murderflies. It's still going to come down to what do you do with the other phobies. So if that's the case, then we need to worry about what is like, if it rounds up at a certain level, it may mean that like a Cassowary plus jump doesn't kill something. That may not matter for Jar, but it will matter for other quote-unquote top-tier phobies. Or even things like, where's this guy? So one of the big boogeymen is Grimes, if I can find it. Is it a 4 cost? Here it is. So, like, if you ended up with 601 hit points instead of 600, that changes whether you can allow Grimes to hit something, because then you'll survive the next hit and be able to kill it, versus not. And I get it. Like, it's going to be a unique board state. And ultimately, if the thing, whatever it was leveling, just had 601 hit points naturally, for whatever reason, okay, then it does, and it survives anyway. So we just have to adapt to the game state. But I think it does impact it. It's just going to depend on how impactful it is. Am I full of frenemies? No. I don't know my code offhand, but we definitely, in the Discord, we got a few other people that had joined for frenemies games. So if it's not necessarily with me, I mean, again, I don't have a problem with it. And I've been trying to figure out a way to reasonably do frenemies games on stream. I mean, I guess we could just play them and pass turn back and forth. It annoys me that you have to, like, go out each turn you leave the async game and then you go back in, but I mean, it is what it is. This feels like it's been frozen for 1,000 turns. We're probably just gonna lose the race here. Oop. Rambolina is not coming anywhere near Relevance. Did they just kill us? I don't think so. It's going to be close. We're going over here so we can tee off on this. So we would lead off with this. That's still not going to be enough damage, though. Maybe we just move up, do it, get you on the pad, and then hit things. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. They put a freeze trap there. They've hit me with 3 freeze traps this game, so, I mean, you got me. Really pay attention to my quests, to be honest. Like, I really should pay more attention. Obviously, I haven't put a whole lot of effort into this one. One's like, Rain Havoc here is fine. Spread the Love, okay, that's workable. Let's Go Hunting here is a terrible quest, I think, in my opinion. I don't like these where it requires a specific phobia against a specific thing. That's problematic because it causes weird play patterns. Like, it should absolutely just be win 3 games, win 3 async games, and maybe it's like a much bigger reward in async, which would be, so this is, the reason I was going to say a bigger reward for async is just because you can't guarantee that your opponent is, like, hypothetically, you could crank out Rain Havoc in a single game. It's not going to happen, but it could. Completing, say, winning 5 async games could take a week. So it needs to justify investing that much and eating up a quest slot. But then it also pushes people to only play a certain mode. Maybe not only, but, you know, it drives them to a certain mode over another. I don't know how I feel about that. It's probably better to just stick with these sort of things, but I think it should just be, like, win 3 games. That sort of stuff. If you don't like your 3rd mission, you can re-roll, so maybe you get a better card. Yeah, I have re-rolled some. I was going to try and do this, but I think I am just going to re-roll it. You're right, there are lots of people complaining about quests for the same reason. Yeah, I did see in that, like, the 2 big things that came out of that poll that they did were, I guess this is possible. The big things were people complaining about the economy, which I absolutely understand. I've been one of those people. We're going to level this because we're obviously going to have to try and force it. The in-game economy between collecting cards, in general, acquiring phobies, acquiring cards to level the phobies, the leveling, and all of the stuff surrounding the in-game economy, I feel is a little punishing. And a lot of other people said the same thing. Now, the other piece is the quest. There's a couple other things, but to be honest, I love the game. I think the game is great. I don't know what their plans are. I don't think they responded to any of that stuff, and to be honest, I would not expect any changes. Like, realistically, you kind of can't, right? They've decided what their economy is going to be, and I doubt they can change it just from a business perspective. And I can respect that. I just wish they would, and given the option, I would push them to, but maybe they can't. Like, this is the only financially viable model. I don't know. There's so much love put into this game. Absolutely. I mentioned this on another stream, but I almost wonder if Phobies was another game prior to this, and then this is like that game 2.0 or 5.0. The reason I say that is putting the economy discussion and all that stuff aside for a moment, which, again, you can level plenty of valid complaints about it. In short, this feels like the game economy of a 2008 mobile game kind of thing. But putting that aside for the moment and just strictly talking about it from a gameplay perspective, the game feels awesome. It looks awesome. It oozes atmosphere, probably appropriately with the term oozes. There's just so many things to love about it, and I really adore, I mentioned it on many occasions, I adore the artwork. The character design is super cool. The mechanics are really fun. The gameplay is super engaging. And I really do enjoy this game. But that's why I wonder, was it something else? Because if this is the first iteration of Phobies, because I've seen this with many other games, where a company will produce a game and it does good, bad, indifferent, and then a few years later they launch another game, either as a spiritual successor or a literal successor to the first one, trying to capitalize on, well, hey, it's just like that thing you liked, but better, and then actually improving things, because, you know, it's like anything else, you iterate on things, you learn as you go, and you can't accommodate or think of everything to begin with. And that's not just a balance perspective thing. That's not just a, oh, well, we have to deal with certain aspects sort of thing. It's more just, there's sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and you won't learn that until you dive in with both feet. You produce a product, and then everything comes out of it. And Phobies feels so polished on a number of fronts that it almost feels like it went through that process, that stage already. Maybe the developers are just that good. I don't know, but I can definitely appreciate everything in Phobies that goes so well. But rambling from me aside, more rambling randoms thoughts. Thoughts from randoms. We'll jump into another arena game. Alright, here we go. So this was a map that was in the pool when I first started playing, I think. But that was well before I had a lot of this stuff in my collection. So a jar will control 2 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. It looks like it's 5 to everything. So I think we open like this. And we'll see how it goes. So one thing I noticed about the maps from a lore perspective is I don't know if I've seen them all. But, like, this is clearly supposed to be a kid's room, right? You got, like, this little crib up here. You got, it looks like there's toy blocks down here and a toy airplane and things like that. There's other maps like Eternal Monday that are clearly supposed to be a work office, stuff like that. A variety of different things that are real-world analogs. But there are a couple of maps that are like, okay, is this just supposed to be hell? I'm not sure. Because I'm pretty sure this is just hell. Alright, so we can take this. It would take an exceptionally high-level jar to be able to one-shot this, I think. I just want to get that online. We can't go here, because if we do, this will kill us just right off the bat. If we take any of the points, we can get hit by 2 of our opponents' guys. Because just like here, there's 2 spots that have access to any panic point. But if they try and do it, by the same token, we have that same advantage. So we're going to pull back with Cassowary a little bit. I guess it's possible that they put a jar and then kill our Cassowary. Or they just do that. I should have just pulled back more. That was a mistake. So we're trading 2 for 1 because we'll obviously be able to kill their cat. That murder fly positioning is weird, because if they put it like... Well, I guess if they put it over here... They needed to put it here, I think, so that it could fly here. Because right now they can't threaten it. So they can obviously kill the cat. Do we want to preserve the cat? No, game. I'm telling you, sometimes that is one... Whoop. That is one thing I will say. Sometimes the client does not want to cooperate. So we could recap this point. We could just tank the damage for a little bit. We're just going to tank the damage for a little bit on the heart. The cat isn't all that important, but it is another threat on the board. We could always run it in later. That's not a big deal. So now the murder fly is in position to get the jar. We actually... So keeping the cat here was probably worth it. Like keeping the cat in general. Because now they can't just fly on top of this box and get it. So if they went... 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So a jar cannot reach the cat where it is. If we move up with this, this would do... Wow, this is a pretty high level cassowary. So that's 1,000, 1,500. What do we want? That would be a 4. Like a sheep wouldn't be bad. This would pull something out of position. That's the main reason I'm going for it. So we're trying to gum up their ability to hit our jar for obvious reasons. They should not be able to get at it from this position, and they can't kill the stabby. Interesting that they just elected to put damage on it. Alright, so this is going to necessitate moving the jar. So if we move this down here, like the cat could collect this point, I guess. Or this one, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters, but... So if you go here, you can no longer reach it. Your leap is on cooldown. So they probably don't want to advance the stabby now. They clearly kill this and retake the point. I didn't account for jar, but I don't think... Yeah, the jar shouldn't be able to do anything. They have to disperse these two. They gotta make a decision. Maybe we should have retaken the middle point. That would have been better. Sending the cat down to the bottom was a mistake. Sending the cat to the bottom was a mistake. If we retook the middle point, we could more easily defend that, because again, they're going to have to... They couldn't send the murder fly in, it would just die. So that means that the jar would come back online and be able to protect these 2 points. Now, their jar is protecting the bottom 2 instead. Or middle and bottom. And we're going to end up just sacking something. That's interesting. Problematic for us, but interesting. We need to bank some keys. I think we're losing. I'm not sure. Like, I don't really want to advance here. We're pulling back so there isn't an obvious, they just take something for free. Maybe they do anyway. Yeah, because they leap here. I mean, we'd probably trade positively key-wise. Cassowary and this thing are 3. I mean, we're going to be able to kill them anyway because of the jar. But I don't know that that makes a significant difference. You also can't not make a push at some point. You can hope they do a dumb into you to assist that push, but you can't sit back forever. With the current board state, that's true. I don't think that that's true in all cases, though. So our stabby loses to their stabby, on top of the fact that they have Metabot, or whatever this thing is called. Let it go. Well, we have a quest for this guy, so we might as well do it. Actually, we don't need to... where are you? You, here. So we can save the explosion. Neither of these will die. They're still going to take a... Oh, God. Ah, I meant to move Stabby. Stabby dies for free now. I was so focused down here, I ran out of time. So we just donated 3 keys. That likely costs us the game. We might be able to kill this with this surviving. We should. So maybe it's not... for free? Still really bad. We'll see if they run in and heal. I'd imagine they're going to. They have 9 keys. Like, our board position is not so overwhelming that we don't just get demolished by a high key unit. So when we lose this game, we can go back and look at it to see what went wrong. Ah, this guy. Okay. So they still have 6 keys left, for the record. I had a feeling that was going to kill him. And does this kill the sheep? Does not. I mean, the sheep is dead to this guy, but, you know. So this threatens the bottom point. I don't know if we actually want to threaten the bottom point. I imagine they're going to run up and kill this guy. But because this guy's melee, we can shell it with... 1, 2, 3... Oh, this is going to be just out of range. Never mind. As long as it didn't go to this bottom one. So we take both points. Well, what 6-drop are they playing now? Technically, it's 12 keys versus 15 keys. Because it'll be a 6, a 6, and a 3. Or, I guess, some other combination of 6 that they could play. Which, to be honest, multiple smaller things wouldn't be bad here. The mass power down play, I see. Alright, so that's some spread damage, so they can't quite heal it as effectively. I could see them walking up, like, Woolly Bully down here, and then Boo Fairy to the middle. Or vice versa, I guess, because they can both reach. And powering both these down, and then just retaking the points. Because I'm going to obviously have to back off. Or they could just kill everything. I mean, that works too. Yeah, 48 damage is not real good. It's not good. The spare key here definitely makes sense. Going Woolly Bully instead of a 6, so that way they can pressure with these two, and then sneak this guy around to recap points. It's part of the advantage of having the cats and stuff still alive towards the end of the game. They start out having high, well, not high, but solid value in the beginning of the game, taper off in the middle, and then go up again where they can sneak around. Maybe not as strong as early on, but still. Obviously, we got to take the shots where we can get them here. We're just going to retreat this guy. Are we? I didn't check to see how much health he had left. Not enough to survive that. Okay. Chat, we might be pulling this back. Chat, we might be pulling this back. Don't call it a comeback. Alright, so now we light up Woolly Bully? I mean, not like this guy is doing a whole hell of a lot to assist in that. Actually, we could probably sit on these too. Like, maybe we try and kill Metabot? Clinico? I keep calling it Metabot. Believe, chat. You gotta believe, you gotta want it. So here's the thing, do we... Bully already used its power down. It's not gonna be off cooldown. Maybe we just keep shooting Wooly Bully. 839. Technically, we're pushing damage. Technically. So they could, like, the way they do this is they outlast us. Because obviously they can heal up and tank a lot of this damage. This guy has 800 health. Wow, seriously. So the heal is on cooldown for a few turns, so now we just need to lay into Wooly Bully while we have the opportunity. And obviously we can kite because we have range and they do not. Like, maybe it would have been worth putting the jar back on the... I forgot this thing has an actual attack. I keep thinking it's the other one that doesn't have an attack. If we can kill Wooly Bully, though, it doesn't matter. Chat, we may have done it. I assume this thing can't heal itself. I assume it can't heal itself. It would be funny if it could. But I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that it didn't. You could have killed the one that revives with the jar, step on and hit the medic for 400. Yes, I think that would have been a better play. That absolutely would have been a better play, Dragon. You're right. But we managed to get there. I was really sweating this one, Chad. I didn't think we had it. I thought we were losing this game. I thought we were losing that game. So, Chad, I wanted to run this by you guys to see what you think. So this is just a picture of Opticon. It's obviously not Opticon itself. I do need to do this, though. How do I... And I do it this way. So if we do this, and we do black. No, we want change color, please. There we go. Can you guys really see that? There we go. So I want to do this at some point. I don't know if now is necessarily the best idea, but I wanted to run it by chat to see how people felt about this. Because one of the things, and this is going to be difficult for me to try and do because I can't see the map. I'm like just kind of judging it. But I played on this map earlier. So I have a whopping 1 game under my belt. And the idea is I want to try and do breakdowns. No, so this is because I have a filter on to filter out green. So basically what I'm doing is I'm green screening the map in Photoshop so that I can do a Telestrator routine on it like this. So it's a regular Gin Sting, but because Gin Sting is green, it's getting pulled out, which is kind of funny. It would be really cool though. Like after I did it, I posted it in Discord and I'm like, this actually looks kind of sweet. But yeah, so I ended up winning a game on this map because of a somewhat silly reason. It was a somewhat silly reason because I don't know. Oh yeah, I was afraid it was going to do that. Oh boy, that's not good. Let me fix that real quick, chat. Okay, so note to self, can't do that. I'm just going to have to go to where I think it is on the bottom. So all I'm looking at right now is literally a blank green screen in Photoshop. And I have layers set up. So I was player 2 on this map. I was red. It's over here. So my opponent ended up trying to... Mondi Me, welcome to the stream. And thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. So I'm just trying to run this by everybody. And let me know if like this doesn't work. Because I got to refine it. But if people think the idea is hot garbage to begin with, it may not be worth pursuing. But the idea here is I want to talk about each of the maps. Not necessarily all at the same time. But just break down like what I think the relevant strategies are, and then maybe put a couple phobies up there that I think are relevant. Jin Sting was just a test. But I think Jin Sting might be okay on this map, and here's the reason. So the way I won this game is I ended up just coming up this way towards the end of the game and going for the heart. And I ended up just rushing my opponent down. It's interesting that it's not showing that. Is it not picking it up? So it picked up the second one. Oh, no, I see it. It's all the way in the bottom. Like I said, it's difficult to try and do this. So we'll... Something like that. Me when map no heal spot. Yeah. This map is weird. So we got into a really huge standoff. Like, it was a medieval warfare where we just lined up and stared at each other for like 3 turns because I had 6 phobies and had 4 points. I had the ones that were up here. Hopefully I'm circling the appropriate places. I'm just kind of guessing. Here, 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 and here. So I had those 4 points. That's not even close for the record. I'm watching it. This is silly. But I ended up setting up blocks here and here with Gravedigger. Basically sealing it off. So this point that I'm filling in now, that one was quote-unquote in enemy territory, but they couldn't, because I had Unbearable, Erratic, and a few other ranged guys set up and Murderfly ready to go. If they advanced, they were going to lose stuff. What they ended up doing was actually blowing up my Erratic, which was positioned roughly here. It was too far up, and they were able to get at it. What I ended up doing at that point is because they allowed me to sit there for so many turns, I just said, the hell with it. The only way I'm winning this through their Hevo 2.0 and a few other things is take the Hail Mary shot and go for the W over here. So we ended up just getting there because my Gravedigger survived, and then I was able to set up yet another block here and lock them out. So it was Heart, Statue, and then the native block. You can spectate the only game I played on the map. I think there's kind of a pattern to control the map playing around the stim pads. The stim pads, I think, are very important. So let's switch back. Isn't there a stronger ultra rare jar cannon? What do you mean an ultra rare stronger than jar cannon, or do you mean something that's another like it's jar cannon, but just better? Oh, you mean, is there a second one? I misunderstood what you meant. So yes. Man, high value Gravedigger, I see. Yeah, Gravedigger, I think has a lot of value on this map, or potential value. Chuck. Is Chuck range 3, though? I don't know what Chuck is. Maybe I've seen him, but I can't picture that guy. So, my biggest issue with this map, and again, I've only played one map on it, and we're spectating a frenemy game. Well, it's not a frenemy game, but one of the frenemies is in this game, but alright, you get what I'm talking about. We wanted to see what other strategies are on this map. I think that Gravedigger has a lot of value. I think the stim pads are very important. Now, I ended up in the one game I played getting Unbearable on here to try and lock down part of the board early on. But a jar, obviously, is very strong. 3 range, but 9 cost. Okay, well, on this map, because of the key accumulation, like, you could start... Like, going second, you start with 6 keys. So you could go 3 1-drops. No, you go 2 1-drops. And then you gain 5 a turn, so you could stomp that guy out quickly. We're talking about Chuck here. Now, I don't actually have that phobie. I don't think I've seen that phobie. So we're just going by what chat's saying, because we're breaking this game down live. We're talking about this map live. Mount Crushmore for a little bit of range and wall. I like Unbearable for the same reason. I think, or at least for the lob effect. But yeah, the wall would definitely be valuable. I don't have Crushmore, but I could definitely see Crushmore being valuable here. It's all going to be about what kind of attacks will bend like this, where you can get chip damage. Because the movement's going to be so awkward, unless you have things like Clopster here, where you can actually dig under this stuff. Again, another useful phobie. I think that things like Gin Sting could hypothetically have some good value because of bees. So, its range matters, right? But the bigger deal here is that if you get gummed up here and there's this traffic jam, this log jam of just, there's all these phobies, or you're in this standoff, you can hit them with bees or other effects to get their stuff into range, so that way, whenever the big clash does happen, you should be taking things down in one shot, whereas their things will take multiple shots to kill things. Chuck is basically a 9-cost 3-range tank. At 9 keys, he better be worth it. Like, that's a lot of keys. I don't think I've seen an 8 or 9 key phobie, even spectating games. Now, granted, the last few map rotations have mostly been small maps, so... I thought about Gin Sting because of all the choke points in the mid. Yeah, exactly. I think Mount Crushmore and Gravedigger, going back to them, I don't know if there are any other phobies that break up, either create obstacles or break obstacles. But clearly, any movement that you could have, I would imagine flyers would be very valuable on this map. I wanted to try and emphasize Erratic because my opponent put out a Hydra, which, granted, I'm countering a 4-key unit with a 6-key unit, but at the same time, they also eventually ran a Hevo 2.0 out there. Plus, it also chains attacks, which is really one of the major reasons I wanted it. Also protect the jar. If you notice, I saved him like 4 times before he dies. Yeah, jar is super relevant. We did mention that earlier, but it's keeping a jar alive can absolutely turn the tide of a game. Gargoyle would be a decent suicide wall. Yeah, Gargoyle's not a bad idea here either, because again, it creates another obstacle. And yes, your opponent could cluster around it to wipe it out the turn that it pops out of the statue. And I don't know if... Does it pop out at the end of your turn or the start of your turn? I'm assuming it's end of your turn, but... Is this jar still... Oh, you body block. So their eyeball could walk in. So I guess they can still get it here if they want to dive with it. See, I need to get this guy, the pterodactyl. Erratic on every map. Yes, end of your turn? Okay, thanks, DT. I play Erratic on, like, literally every map. It's one of my better phobies. I don't have a wide range of phobies just yet. I'm still 100% free to play. I mentioned it before, I don't know if that's going to continue. I may just put some money in, but... Like, I expect I will. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Yeah, the body blocks have been really good. I will say that. That's been absolutely true. You only use Quagmire. Is that the slime alligator? Man, you are just clobbering your opponent here. There is something to be said about phobies, and I think this is probably true for a lot of tactics games. Ow, just clacked my teeth really weird there. Ah, that hurt. I think tactics and strategy games, Now, I'm primarily a card game player, so they fall into that category, but this is a different sort of game. When you say a tactics game or a strategy game, I don't think you're really thinking of a card game. Usually, to me, it's this sort of game, even though tactics and strategy are involved in card games. But the reason I separate the two is it feels as though you can snowball an advantage in this sort of game, I think, much more readily than you typically... Now, certain card games, that's absolutely true. But for Phobies, by comparison, it feels like you snowball games way, way more. I don't know, maybe that's not actually the case, but it definitely feels that way. Like, you can just have that domino effect where it's, oh, I killed this Phobie, so you have to do this weird thing, which means I can advance in this way, and then I lean on you and then force you into the next mistake, and the next mistake, and all of a sudden, I'm at like a 10-key advantage. Slime alligator? Yep. Okay, I wanted to make sure we were talking about the same thing. This seems to be more of a board game with cards versus a card game. Yeah, there's really nothing card-based about this. It's just calling them cards, I think, is the simplest way. Like, they could have called them tokens, or coins, or avatars, or whatever, but they're rectangles, so they're cards. But yeah, this is absolutely a miniatures game. And the kind of miniatures games that I like, I always wanted to get into minis games as a player, but I never could for a variety of reasons, but... So you have the board advantage. Like, I mean, you hemorrhage some Phobies here, but realistically, like... It's not going to let me look at the health. There we go. Like, you're controlling the board. You have 5 keys. And here comes Erratic. Speak of the devil. Me is not the case. When both players play their Sparrow Spikes well, there's basically 0 snowball, and this game is decided in 1 turn. Honestly, that hasn't been the case for me, for the most part. There are games where that's like a minis game without the in-home clutter. Exactly, Doc. Have you seen Quagmire Heel Spot Camp? No. I haven't seen that yet. That's a solid marketing pitch. It's true, Doc. For the most part, in my games, yes, there's typically a turn that after the game, or maybe even during the game, you can look back and go, that turn decided the game. And you might, I guess arguably in every game, there's going to be that one crucial turn that flips it. But the snowball there is not as dramatic, and obviously if it's later in the game, then well, maybe the snowball is more dramatic then. I guess the better way to put it is I don't typically see a lot of games coming down to, I waited my opponent out. Like, there was something that happened that broke it open, and then there was just basically no way for the other player to come back. And if you have 2 players on equal footing, especially strong players, I would imagine that gets delayed for a very long time. Because they know exactly what to do and try and draw their opponent into something. So notably, I was talking when this happened, but a Cassowary and a Stabby came out here instead of going for a larger key unit, which I like. I think I personally fall into the trap of, oh, I have 5 keys, I have 6 keys, I have 7 keys, whatever. I need to hit the on-curve key unit. Because it's a 7-key unit, it's gotta be better, right? But that's not necessarily what you want to do. It isn't about winning the Phobie war. It's about winning the game. And you can absolutely lose the Phobie war and win the board position war and therefore win the game. AKA, like, look at this. They're controlling 4 points. At other points, there were other ones controlled. You could have, and if you choose a different map, you could definitely see the points where it's, okay, well, I controlled the board, so I'm dealing 1 billion damage to you. I guess they were trapped with this, so that was good positioning here. Trapping this so that they couldn't get at this. I don't know if this was intentional at the time. Like, we'd have to rewind the turn, but trapping the robot here was a big deal. Because otherwise this thing wouldn't have resurrected. That was actually to get his pterodactyl. That was several turns ago. I was busy yapping, so... Oh, the stabby play you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this makes sense. Like, this was good. The stabby and cassowary, gotcha. Yeah, body blocking, I wonder... So, I was going on and on about trying to... utilize... Well, chat brought up Gargoyle, but Mount Crushmore and Gravedigger and all this other stuff, and I wonder if it's really just boiling down to, are the body blocks good? Now, it could be statues, it could be the existing terrain, or it could be just body blocking. Like, this muffin has been floating around the board since, like, I don't even know. Early in the game. It's been around. The muffin is, like, look at it. It's doing laps. It's getting its cardio in because it has done, like, 35 laps around the board. And it's body blocked multiple times. And I know we rewound it, so we're rewatching turns, but, you know, it gives me more time to yap. Quagmire Wall. I think Pterodactyl might be one of my favorite units. I don't know. I say that about a lot of phobies. There's so many phobies that I'm like, that's my favorite phobie. And then another one is like, oh, no, that's my favorite phobie. No, that one's, I mean, realistically, Erratic is my favorite phobie. I've won and lost a lot of games as a result of Erratic hitting the board, and that's why it's my profile picture. But anyway, back to the map. Yeah, body blocks may be the key thing, or one of the key things, just to, I mean, if you boil it down, isn't that every map is just getting better positioning? So on this map, you can leverage body blocks better. Or just, we'll abstract it from body blocks to blocks, because then it is more generalized. Because, like, here, as I was pointing out, and that's what caused us to replay a few turns, was this pterodactyl, by almost all accounts, should be dead this turn. You light it up with a Stairmaster, you whack it with a Woolly Bully, but you can't follow up to step on it. Because it's body blocked by the sheep and the voodoo. By Stabby here. Muffin Top is a setup tool to me. A lot of people poison my Stabby hoping to kill him, and then Muffin Top that kept that guy alive since they turn 5 heals him and the guy melts down. Yeah, I can definitely see a lot of rage quits. We were talking about it earlier with different configuration, but there are times where you set something up, or your opponent sets something up, and then you just blow them out by a surprise thing because whatever they were doing was too close to your spawn point. And that's something to keep in mind for this map because there are 2 spawn points, so you have to be cognizant of what's happening. Look at this. Look at all the orange on the board right now. Look at all that orange. But yeah, you can absolutely blow somebody out with that. Like, jar plays feel as though they are the most obvious or most common. But a Muffin Top or other healing phobia could absolutely ruin your day coming out of nowhere, too. You know, what the saddest part about Sheeping Gas is that there's no flavor text on its card. There's no flavor text on the Sheeping Gas card, which is very sad. But that was a pretty cool win. Or, it's over here, right? It was. Here it is. Oh, you were playing a bunch of games in between that. That was a pretty cool game. Attacking the heart was unnecessary. Yeah, but you generate... So, we've talked about this before on stream. I went to Heart to farm purple essence. I'm not that crazy. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it's BM. The problem is that it is. And it's not intended to be. Like, that is a first-party problem. That is the developer's problem, not the player's problem. Because the game is designed to encourage what amounts to BM. And that, like, if somebody does that to me, I mean, yeah, I'm going to be annoyed because it's like, please, just end the game. The game is over. But when I stop and think about it, no, I'm not really that annoyed. I'm annoyed at the player. Or I'm not annoyed at the player. I'm annoyed at the developers because they've encouraged this sort of stuff. Now, would people do it anyway? Yes. But now you're telling people who would not be inclined to BM. Like, I had somebody offline who had me dead. Like, they had the panic points. They had a phobie right next to my heart. And if they punch it with the phobie, the game ends immediately. So they attack it and then undid it. And I'm like, that's weird. What are they doing? And then they just proceeded to do it the whole time for the entire timer to BM. I'm like, okay, so this is like spamming emotes in other games. It's stupid. You know, you're a dickhead. Whatever. There are worse things in life. That's different than people farming XP or tiers. Because in that case, there is a material benefit to the player who's doing it. And the game encourages that. So that's the game's problem, not the player's problem. I can't fault somebody for farming stuff. So in other games, like, as I mentioned earlier, I play a lot of card games. Digital card games have this habit of making the highest rarity, usually legendary, where you can't have as many of them in your deck as you can other rarities. I'm not a huge fan of that mechanic, but okay, that's what they do. The rarity, whatever it's called, we'll say legendary, where you can't have as many as the other stuff, power level there matters. But power level for any game where you have, like, you can only have one Razor Mouth. You can also only have one Flesh Crawler, like, in play. Point is that you could argue about which one's more powerful, or, like, based on their abilities, their tool set, their cost, their whatever. But whether the rarity doesn't really factor in. Like, if the 1 cost turned out to be way more powerful than a random 9 cost because the 9 cost never hits play, then okay, that's fine. Competitively speaking. Obviously, if it turns out one of your commons is just oppressive because at the early ranks there's just no reasonable way to combat it, there's an argument that that's problematic. But overall, I don't think it's a big deal, like, if one of the commons or something craps all over a bunch of ultra rares, other than it gives people who whale the game feel-bads. I don't know. I mean, it's actually worse to level a common because of the reward system. Do you mean, like, the stress levels, Dragon? I'm not quite sure what you mean. I mean, you do need more copies of it than... Like, you need a lot more copies of cards than you need for a comparable higher level thing. This is a common. Do we have a level 5 that's not... Here we go. Oh, you're common. Here's a level 5. So we need 20 rares to upgrade Erratic, whereas we need 50 commons to upgrade Razormouth. No, the jacks? So what do the jacks have to do with it? To be honest, I don't know how you generate these. I know you need experience, but, like, I just click on them when they're available. There's one off from upgrading Quagmire. Yesterday, that's rough. They give the same amount of cards regardless of rarity. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so it's basically what I was saying, where you need 50 to upgrade the Razormouth, but the Erratic, you only need 20. So if you get an Erratic, you are going to get more of them. Maybe you get them faster? You get an orange jack, it's 9 cards. Is the orange one the middle one? Is that this one, or is it these bomb-looking ones? Like I said, the jacks part of it, I just don't even pay attention. Okay, gotcha. And the free jack generate a diamond jack? I don't know. When it comes to a lot of this stuff, the systems... Hey, welcome! Welcome to the stream. When it comes to a lot of the economic systems for the game, I kind of mentally check out. Someone else... every once in a blue moon, I'll get in the mood and I'll create a bunch of spreadsheets and figure it out, but, like, as far as I know, there's no in-client information after they explain how the jacks work for how the jacks work. So, you know, like, I clicked through it the first time, and, like, whatever, I don't remember. That's the reason why I'm free to play and actually have a level 7 jar true. I wonder what the percentage chance on that is. The common white jack gives 3 cards, the green 6, the jacks give 9, and the platinum tier on the middle gives 12 after stress level 15, and every 10 after that. Interesting. I didn't even know that the stress levels impacted... So wait, we are... So I guess that's what this is, this lock, which we squeaked out a win earlier. See if we can have a more decisive one. So I mentioned it when we were playing on this map earlier. I'm pretty sure this was in the rotation when I first started playing Phobies. It could be just the color scheme, because this is also true, like, it's the same sort of color palette as Red Rum. So maybe I'm mixing it up with another map, but I think this is the one I played. So here's the thing. I need to offline, or maybe even on stream, sit and figure out, say your opponent has a 2-1 opener like this. This thing only has 1 movement point? Wow. Huh. What is the appropriate counter to, like, say, Razormouth plus Cassowary, or Cassowary plus arbitrary other thing? And where should you set them up? So should I go to the same, like, match Cassowary for Cassowary? Or should I alternatively send it somewhere else? And obviously the stim pads and things complicate the decisions. But I wonder, like, should I have sent the cat to the middle? Should I send the cat down here? Should they be flipped so that Cassowary's down here and the cat's up here? And I think that's something that can be determined offline. Like, you don't have to be in the game. You can just kind of mentally walk through each of the scenarios. So, like, we can't take this point up here because Cassowary will leap on us and one-shot this Cassowary. And we also can't take this one because the Gravedigger will... Like, we're just trading free keys, basically. Now, the Gravedigger could move here and lock this off, which would be super obnoxious. So we're going to try and get Stabby online. I think Stabby here, for me, is kind of going into the same category as where I have Erratic. At certain points in the curve, for lack of a better way to put it, I just look to specific units. Now, we could have gotten a jar, which probably would have been better in retrospect, but I figured we're not in a whole lot of danger. You know, there were no panic points capped. There isn't some enormous minion or phobia on the board that's going to tear me up. So I'm going to instead advance a slow-moving unit to try and get it into position. Because once Stabby's in position, he can kind of lock down a spot, or a set of spots. It looks like our opponent had a similar idea. Now, I will try and get the jar online now. We're going to have to clear this out, and then we'll move the cat on just to both kill it and cap a point. Actually, we could do it here, I guess. And then, like I said, we'll get the jar online, or into position at the very least. So this way, it'll try and discourage an advance from them. They should not be able to get cassowary, which is why I elected to say... They could obviously kill the cat, but I'd rather them kill the cat than the cassowary, clearly. We could send this down here. Part of me wants to. No, we're going to leave it there because they're probably going to want to put either cassowary or gravedigger on the point. And if we move down here, then it's less damage. So this will threaten them and try and push them away. Maybe we want to encourage them to come in because they're going to be in range of the jar then. I mean, this guy's in range of the jar anyway. So we can hopefully get the gravedigger for free. Which I highly doubt, but, I mean, we can hope. They may just be realizing that now. Or not. I guess they just wanted to rearrange it so that way that the cassowary could move where they wanted. So they're going to leave it there. I don't know that I agree with that. So that's their jar. Also locking off the same spot, understandably. So I think we take this. They could hypothetically put a ton of damage into Stabby, but I don't think it's going to kill him. So we're going to get sheep online. Are we? I think we go Murderfly and start threatening their jar. So now they can't reasonably leave jar there, because we'll just get it. You just got this game, Crazy Stripes? Nice. This game is a lot of fun. I've been playing it for a few weeks now. Well, maybe longer than that. I started sometime in March. I should actually look up what day I actually downloaded it. And I've done a bunch of videos for it. This game is a lot of fun. I do have my complaints about it, and we've covered them a number of times on stream, and I don't have a problem doing it again, but there's an enormous number of things to enjoy about it. Yeah, nice is pretty fun. It really scratches an itch for something that I can't believe didn't exist before this, or if it did, there weren't many games that allowed me to play it. Yeah, so here they're protecting the jar, which makes sense. I see your voodoo is not quite as big as mine. Your stabby. It's casual, but still has an enormous amount of depth. The complaints I have are surrounding the game economy, which, like, okay, yeah, there's things to complain about the game economy. Shocker, right? Like, any game is going to have that. I don't want to move the Murderfly up yet, because I don't know if it will survive. They banked keys, so we're going to bank keys. We have the majority of the points, so they have to do something. You know, the onus is on them to act. But yeah, there's so many things, and we were talking about it earlier, and I have on other streams also, but there's so many little things, as well as big things, that add up to a cohesive whole that makes Phobies a lot of fun. There's an erratic. Or not. I would kind of expect the erratic to come out, to be honest. I don't really know how we deal with it, other than just try and burn it down. We can match with our own erratic. So, I don't really know what the answer to erratic is yet. And I was thinking about this offline, because I played another game where my opponent had erratic, and I'm like, how do I personally deal with it? Because poison, like sheeping gas, is not a great answer, because as we've done in games that we were losing and then won on the back of erratic, The poison isn't sufficient because you can heal through it if your opponent allows you. This guy moved 2 or 1? He moves 2. Wow. We can get a 7 and a 6. I think we go with Erratic of our own and get it online. It's going to take 100 years for this to happen. Like I said before, we have the panic point advantage. Our opponent's going to have to invade at some point. And because we have a very, very, very minor life advantage, we could, like, we could wait a few turns. If they invade, we don't like the positioning, try and reorient things. What's my favorite phobie? Right now, it's probably Erratic. That's why I made him my avatar, my profile picture. I think this is supposed to be Erratic. I don't really understand the connection between Erratic and him reading a book. I'm assuming this is Erratic, but maybe it's a different phobie, because this thing reminded me of Erratic. But this has won me the most games. But to be honest, it's more what phobie don't I like, because there are very few I don't like. I really enjoy a ton of the phobies. Like, I think they're really cool. Somebody commented on one of my YouTube videos, they're like, you or Murderfly and Jar, name a more iconic duo, because they're in all of your videos. And, like, yes, they absolutely are. So you can leap, it'll be 800. Oh, you can poison there. Because they could take middle. And we're trading 4 for 3. If they poison there, they're not going to poison there. They're going to try and poison Erratic. How long does this last? We might be able to out-heal it. We're going to try. Erratic is probably one of the strongest ones you start with. I think so. I think so. I don't know if... because the starting phobies don't seem to be static. Like, a number of people have come into chat and said that they've had wildly different starting phobies than what I had, which is interesting. I don't know which ones you're guaranteed to get, because I think I've had somebody who said they didn't start with Jar, but just about everybody I played in the beginning had Jar. That's fair, I guess. Jar is a must. Yeah, Jar is a big deal. At least at this level. I mean, maybe it's not a big deal as you... And we were talking about this earlier. Maybe Jar isn't as important as you progress in skill and collection level. But right now, it feels... You know, it's just incredible. I think we'd rather kill their stabby. Like, they might be able to get our Jar, but not likely. We'll get Ramboline online to threaten their Jar. I'm pretty sure the tutorial gives you Cat, Jar, Murderwing, Gravedigger, Sheep, Erratic, and then 7 random phobies. Gotcha, okay. GG. Just like that, we take it down. I mean, that turn was crippling. We just pulverized them on that last turn. But that was fun. That was fun. I'll take it. GG. Sometimes it goes like that, chat. Sometimes it goes like that. Jar is such a good phobia, although I'm actually pretty intrigued on what phobias each phobia which phobias each phobia represent. Some of them I think are more generic monsters like cowbell. Are there people that are afraid, like, could this be abstracted to be a generic fear of technology? Yeah. But like, as compared to hypochondria, that's a more readily identifiable phobia. You know, Stabby, I always mistakenly call him voodoo, so there you go. The undead in general makes sense. I guess Wooly Bully is supposed to be like Bigfoot? I don't know. The flavor text makes me think for cowbell it's medicine. This is a reference to a Saturday Night Live routine. I got a fever and the only prescription is more cowbell. It was with Will Ferrell and what is that guy's name? Chad, help me out. What's the other guy's name for the cowbell routine? Yeah, this is more a pop culture reference. The ones that are actually medicine related, like there are ones obviously Gesundheit and microscopic. Christopher Walken, thank you, DT. I was gonna be so mad I couldn't think of his name. But like microscopic, obviously, right? What? I think you're thinking of Celebrity Jeopardy there, Doc. Or is that the character name in the sketch? But yeah, I absolutely, like, this guy is just generically named Minotaur, so I think a lot of them are just, I'm a creepy monster. Although this one reminds me of Darkwing. Anybody remember the Darkwing Duck episode where they go out to camp and then they're telling scary stories, and then Darkwing has to fight Bushroot, where Bushroot creates Petunia that was supposed to be his bride, and it turned into a giant monster vampire potato? The character is Bruce Dickerson. Okay, gotcha. And then, of course, bees! Because, you know, bees. This guy is super creepy in-game. Also has an awesome effect, which I got blown out by when I played my opponent, because they just constantly... I mean, not constantly, but they must have activated this 3 times over the course of the game, and it was powerful every time. But yeah, I don't know how many of these are tied to actual phobias, other than ones like you abstract them to a thing. You know, like you could generically say certain things are related to it, but there's some that you could pinpoint to certain things. But regardless, it was definitely a lot of fun tonight, chat. I think I'm going to call it a night, but we will be back tomorrow. Like I said, we're going to be playing a Dragon Evo tournament, barring some catastrophe. If it finishes early, or, you know, I scrub out, which is kind of the same thing, we'll probably be switching to Phobies. Either way, my game plan right now is to play some Phobies on Sunday. So, we got more Phobies on the menu in the near future. But, that's going to do it for this time. So, as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and Black Lives Matter.